Morning. What's going on?
Good morning, Dracula. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Just had to get my mind right before we got started. You know what I'm saying?
Remind you what it's all about, right?
That's right.
Are you the monkey or are you the guy in that situation? Or do you have the monkey on your shoulder?
Yeah, I got him. Oh, look who's here. Good morning, Sonic Goat.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, you got to have one of those guys whispering in your ear that 20x is not enough. And if you're going to do it, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think
So,
you're right. You do have to have that, especially if you run a plus.bet.
oh, yeah, for
You
sure.
gotta have someone telling you that 20 is not enough.
But yeah, man, we got a cool show today. Excited to finally have $24
The ham himself.
on the show. A Phantom Alerts legend, all around crypto legend. Yeah, excited about that. Dude's just a pleasure to speak with in general. So excited to have him on. Yeah, Sonic Goat's asking if you can send him some of your mustache hair, if you can work that out.
To do Santeria. Why the
Yeah,
hell would I ever agree to that? You gotta be sneakier than that, dude. I want some of your mustache hair to do a spell on you. That's crazy.
also, he says $24 is $23.99 more than my net worth.
Maybe the internet's running the account.
But yeah, man, how are you today? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling fantastic. It's Tuesday. We're making it through the week. Um, the Sonic price, which really just kind of dictates my mental well-being, seems to have stopped out at the bottom here. So I'm feeling pretty good, dude. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like we might be at a crossroads. We might
Yeah,
be we're like on the edge of oblivion, where we're sitting right at the precipice of either greatness or complete obliteration and
the
annihilation.
edge of glory.
That's right.
Yeah, considering that the world was supposed to end by the end of last week, at least that was the time frame that Iran was saying. They didn't cut another trailer though, so I guess the beef is settling down.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and when you Google it, they're still just saying we're really worried still that something's going to happen,
We're pretty
but
mad.
still, it's nothing, dude.
Yeah, so of course, this is the Bitcoin Weekly. We took a big hit with all that stuff going on, of course. Then there was, the Japanese carry trade that, nuked the market momentarily. So yeah, all in all, like you said, we're kind of holding on to a cliff right now. I think barring any insane world events, which of course could happen at any time, I'm thinking we're looking like we're gonna start recovering here. Um, I noticed last night, I was looking at my phone last night, and just Trump doing that interview of Elon, the market was like briefly pumping there last night, which is kind of funny.
You did an interview with Elon?
Yeah, he was on did a spaces with Elon last night.
Was he funny?
It was, I just kind of had it on in the background. Like it wasn't really, because it was kind of like what we do, it wasn't really like some really like intense form of interview. They were just kind of talking, and it just sort of like went wherever it went.
Wow. How fortunate is he to just be able to just chat with the guy?
Yeah. So, Bitcoin Weekly's looking okay.
$1 million.
Phantom looking kind of the same to me right now. Once we kind of recovered, it looks like we're back around this resistance area. Of course, would like to see everything rip past this, but let's see here. I'm gonna pop on something real fast. Hitting the green on the alligator, that's usually a good sign. Still well below the 50. That's a volatility weighted moving average. Don't love a fractal right there, but it's okay. So yeah, I think you pretty much sum it up, right? That, I mean, we're kind of in no man's land at the moment. these candles, this is pretty boring daily candle stuff. It's kind of like we're winding up, and hopefully it's going up and not down. So
You can imagine us as a blind man standing on top of these bars, and you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know if it's Mount Everest or it's the Mariana Trench, dude. That's where I'm feeling right now. I could take one step. I could either plummet all the way down to Hades, or I could rise up. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
I
I'm
feel
curious
like,
what 24 thinks. If 24 uses these kinds of
hey, that's a good question. Hey,
What's up, guys?
what's up?
Yeah, I don't think anything, man. When it comes to prices,
anything at all.
Yeah. When it comes to prices, I just hope it goes up. But tech is good, man.
Hell yeah.
But beyond that, it's tough to kind of be like, obviously TA matters, right? But I don't know. We're on the precipice of a World War III potentially. So when that sort of stuff kind of pops up, it doesn't really matter what the prices are. But I know the team's working, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. Pretty excited about Shadow. I was just gonna pull up. Me and you were discussing this before we got started, just like your sort of like initial announcement here, kind of like explaining what I was really interested in is, we were talking about V3 and you were saying it's kind of unique, and that you guys are more like calling it X3, right?
Yeah, escrow 3-3.
Yeah. And I kind of had like something in my mind where I was like, oh, is it kind of just like how people do like the options? And you were explaining it, and it was actually like a lot more interesting than that. So I was wondering if for starters, you wanted to kind of
I'll break it down.
Yeah.
So it's everything in one token. We've dropped Boost completely. We've removed NFTs from the entire equation. I'm not sure if there's any other solidly forks or solidly based projects that have removed the NFTs. Honestly, I didn't like the NFTs. I think it's a pseudo market anyways. Like they say it's liquid, you can trade it, but it's usually at a discount of 30-40%. Not too many people want to lock their assets. And then a lot of the times you got, these wrappers built on top where a lot of that is vamped actually outside of the ecosystem. So if you wanted to exit your NFT, you would go to SolidX, Need RAM. I think it's called ABC RAM now. And things like that, just to exit their locked positions. And none of that money goes to the holders, right? It just goes mainly to the protocol. They usually add like a 15-20% fee to do that, right? To go from locked to liquid assets. And I just didn't like that. We said, forget that BS. Forget pretending that it's actually a market. We just said, you know what? We'll make X Shadow non-tradable. The only thing that we'll focus on being liquid is Shadow itself. We made it so that if you did want to exit, you exit through our UI. And if you're really trying to exit quickly, instantly, there's some fees attached to that, and that goes straight back to X Shadow holders. So I
love that, man. That's
if you want to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
The first
I love
GIF,
that idea.
Yeah, if you look at that first GIF, see if you can blow it up. Our logo's changed, so we've updated this.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I think they can see it there. So yeah, like it's all in one, right? You get emissions, you get a share of protocol fees, you get you vote, so you also earn bribes as well, and everything's in house, right? So if you want to convert to X Shadow, it's 1-to-1 instant. If you want to exit, that's when the vesting comes in. So if you want to do like a 6-month vest, you can get your tokens back 1-to-1 liquid. So if you have the time, a lot of our LPs will be getting emissions in both X Shadow and Shadow. And these can be configured per pool. So some pools might get more liquid Shadow versus X Shadow, probably the blue chips. Maybe some meme coins will get a little bit more X Shadow. But yeah, like it acts like a pseudo options token. It's not really options. But if you were to receive emissions in X Shadow, and obviously some people are really all about their emissions, you can instantly convert, and those fees go back to the holders. So it's simplified. It's a lot more streamlined. We removed a lot of the friction for people. So I'm a big fan, obviously, and I'm a little bit biased, but I think we'll be forked a lot. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think the simplifying the model just kind of makes sense. I mean, it's sort of like one of those things that when you explained it like that, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, why can't we just do that? You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I've been in that position before, on other chains, other solidly forks where, somebody's running the liquid wrapper or, the conversion or whatever. And yeah, it's definitely like, it's painful when, it does make it kind of like sometimes in your mind, like, it's like, well, if I'm going to lock and I'm always going to take this like haircut, you know what I mean? Like, how bad is that going to be? Is it always going to be worth it? Especially like right now, like if the market was down a good bit and then you're still going to take that haircut on top of it. Yeah, I think just like making it way more liquid is,
So like you said, a haircut, like, so if the markets are bad, the token's already gotten a haircut, if we're being honest. And
Yeah.
then you're getting another discount on top of it. And dudes like Fiery Dev are going to be messaging you, man. Hey, I want those tokens on discount. He gobbles them up. So if you want Fiery Dev to be more rich, keep building liquid wrappers and locking your tokens.
That's funny. So I was wondering, so like, yeah, you can exit X Shadow early, right? And there's like a fee. What's that fee like? Is it dynamic or is it like
it just scales like depending on how long your vest is, right? If you really want to just exit instantly, it's a 50% haircut, and it goes up linearly based on how long the vest is. Like the shortest vest is nothing, right? Instant. Longest vest is 6 months. So if you're just wanting to just get your tokens for what you like, let's say you got emissions and you're LPing, you can participate in our ecosystem and then vest out your tokens at the same time. Typically, it's a deterrent for people to kind of just sell right away. It's a way to kind of force participation in, oh, now I have X Shadow. Oh, the APR is amazing just for holding and staking. I might as well, vote on some stuff and get a little bit more. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think it further incentivizes people to actually hold on, right? I mean, if you're getting those fees, it's almost like, like, I mean, especially like imagining something at like launch, if you were LPing or whatever, and you're getting all of those exit fees. Yeah, I mean, that's just it's a nice addition to the system for sure.
In a nice
it's like
picture.
It's a good way to prevent dead voting power. A lot of people will lock up their tokens and then just F off. I hate to say that. And that kind of creates that dead voting power, a little bit of dilution because they're not doing anything, right? So this encourages people to, like, it discourages premature exits, obviously, but it ensures the rest of the participants actually are active. Like, yo, I can leave if I want, or I stay. And if I stay, I'm staying because there's good APR and obviously voting, and I'm earning a lot. So it's kind of, we call it the PvP rebase. I know you guys talked about it on your first show, but it's an anti-dilution mechanic, just kind of like the rebase system, block position sizes from previously, while allowing people to exit, man. Like, leave, bro. If you're not doing anything, you don't want to vote, get out of here, man. Save me that APR, bro.
Yeah, well, and like it's like, let's face it, if you're looking at like DeFi 2.0 or even some of the solidly forks, I mean, emissions are free money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So to take a 50% haircut on free money, it's like poor you, right? So yeah, so I love that that people do have the option to get out. They can get out instantly. If they just want to participate, like if the launch was just super hyped and they just want to get in and get out, but at least when they're getting out, they're providing value to people that want to stay in, compared to someone just farming a bunch of the token emissions, dumping them, hurting the token price, hurting the people that are trying to stick around and participate. So yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great that it's all on one platform too, minimizing like interactions outside, so I don't have to go somewhere else to find the illiquid market that I gotta find to get this NFT unloaded.
You gotta go to Paint Swap.
Also pretty, 21. I didn't appreciate it when I first read this how significant it is, but it is, like you said, like an O token, but without being as ugly as an O token.
Yeah,
an O token is so ugly to get because you always feel like, oh, I'm losing 50% right up front. But this is more like, well, I deserve it. It's a locked position. I could stay in, you know. I like it, dude, because that's always been like a challenge, is like communicating to people like why, you know, and then also keeping the 50% in that fee. Lovely, lovely synergy, dude.
Well,
now, what is this? The points.
So what I was gonna pull up was, you know, at your guys' launch, are you still thinking of doing kind of like a points sort of airdrop kind of deal, or has that changed since
No, still the same.
Yeah.
Because like our initial supply, like the way we broke it down, it's still the same. Like we have 20% of our initial supply, it's just straight airdropped. So 10% is going to the Shadow Points program. We hope to run it concurrently with whatever the Fantom Foundation, now Sonic Labs, will be running. Typical to what you see on most networks, right? Like you bring your money to this network, you farm on this exchange, and then you're also farming the network's points program, or the network's whatever it is, their point system. People have a bunch of silly names for it, marks, shards, whatever it is. You'll be farming both of them concurrently, and that's the goal, hopefully. But with our points program, it's not obscure, it's not vague, it's not no off-chain BS. You simply are participating, and you'll literally get an ERC token, ERC20, called Shadow Points, right? And then at the end of our points program, you can actually just convert those directly to X Shadow. So it's not something where we just see how many people. Like I noticed with a lot of these point programs, you're kind of like waiting to see what the users do. Okay, well, this is how much points we've given out, and they decide right before they distribute it how much tokens are going out. For us, it's set. It's 10% the initial supply, and that's on top of emissions. It's like typically you see a points program, and then the token's not out, and then that's a part of how they distribute the token. No, we're giving you everything to start. Like we should see a lot of liquidity flood into Sonic, like with all the incentives. Like the Sonic Labs has put in a lot of money, like 9 figures of incentives, and then we're giving you emissions on top of a points program. If you have any NFT collections in our chosen set that we're airdropping, that's another 3% of the initial supply. If you're Ramsey's locker, there's 7% as well. So it's huge, man. Like 20% of the initial supply. Typically, when you see projects, they do it. They give it to other projects. Like, oh, this project's similar to ours. Hopefully, their users will come to our project in our network. Typically, that's not how it works. They just sell. So rather than reward those people, we felt like NFT collectors, man, they're really, really, really dedicated, man. And you give them some tokens for the JPEGs they've held for years. They're not the type of users to just, okay, I'm selling. No, they're happy. That's a great group to target. Obviously, we choose Ramses because we will be using their Ramses V3 code, V3 core, which is on it right now by consensus. So that's amazing. I would love to go a little bit into the core there. It's a lot more efficient. I think the two most valuable code bases with Solidly are Airdrome and Velodrome, and Ramses. They're the most efficient. Both projects, they do billions of dollars of volume. It's battle tested, but this new V3 core, like even the AMM, like the typical, the Uniswap V2 architectures even improved. So efficiency is, I hate to use this word autistic, but that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, bro, do we need to really improve the typical, V2 AMM? Yes, let's do it. So we did a lot of stuff, like when it comes to the design of everything, when it comes to staking, not staking, staking on gauges, storages versus pointers, checkpoints or not. It's a lot of nerd stuff. I said this earlier to Dracula, that we need to decide prior to coding it. So essentially, it's just power users of Solidly forks or dexes, and we just kind of thought, what's the best thing, and what would we want to use in our most ideal fashion. So it'll be a lot more efficient. It'll be a lot better. You'll see it on Ramses when it's out there as well. But Shadow's going to be starting with this new V3, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, man, that's I love the sound of that. Yeah, I mean, you were just kind of describing like how the UI is still just going to be, intuitive, simple in a way, but it's doing a bunch under the hood. Um, I just wanted to make one point about your airdrop concept that I think that should be spelled out as well. That, I mean, that's kind of wild to already have the emissions and do the points program, because that is so frustrating to you're farming something for points for the potential airdrop, and then like stuff always happens. Always.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, we're gonna push out launch another month. We're gonna do this. And then it's like even worse is when people start to even just dilute the farming even further. Oh, we got this new partner, or we got this or that, and we're allocating more, tokens and more points. And so yeah, I love that approach to just be like, here it is up front. You can already even be earning. The token's already out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge, honestly. Because that system is starting to, people that do it right, it works well, but you can easily mess that up.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's definitely gotten a little bit played out. But I like to think of it as you're providing liquidity, Shadow. You're bringing your money. At the base, you'll still get emissions, right? And then it's kind of a game. I won't explain the criteria, but once a week, the Shadow points will be distributed to certain pools and then distributed to the liquidity providers. And some will get more Shadow points, some will get less. I won't say the criteria, but it's kind of like a mini game. You're earning emissions, and you're like, maybe I should switch to this liquidity pool because they actually earned a little bit more Shadow points this week, right? So, and it's no question how much money you're making off of the points. Like the set supply, you already know. You know the price of the token because at that point it'll be emitting. It'll be very clear, and I'd be very interested to see like how people build on top. There may be, other programs, vote optimizers, no liquid wrappers on our token, no, but like vote optimizers and other projects that might want to take advantage of this point system. I told what's it called, Dracula, a little bit about maybe providing some grants to builders that actually want to do, like, for example, I saw a really cool code base the other day where they took CLPs and hedged them with hyper liquid vaults or perps in general. So I would love to provide grants to stuff like that, projects that are building on top. And the reason why we can do that is a lot of our partnership allocation, we decided just not to give it willy-nilly. It's just mainly to big providers, I guess, like Lexar, Layer Zero, Frax. Those are providing large liquidity. And then everyone else can just kind of farm. It's already lucrative, right? So
yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that. I feel like that's kind of like come up in discussion more where, especially if you look at a network like Fantom, maybe during the bear market, where like, yeah, during the bear market, we didn't need like 6 or 7 dexes, right? Because it becomes like a liquidity crunch, it becomes like a point where people are just kind of basically fighting for the same small liquidity pool and they're all vamping each other. And I'd had those discussions during the bear market like several times where it was like, well, instead of doing that, like, why don't you just build that to work on top of Equalizer or something? Like, people don't really do that a lot, at least out, on Fantom, it seems. Obviously, like some of the really big protocols on Ethereum, stuff like Balancer, they do this kind of stuff where it's like, they're inviting people, or GMX, they're inviting people to like build on top of it. And I think that's a smart approach, right? Because obviously if we look at like the last market run, I think it's just market conditions, right? It's like when you have the right market conditions, it is actually beneficial to have like so many competitors. But imagine if you have those same market conditions with a bunch of liquidity and a bunch of users, and you're bringing in people to build on top of your project, and all that value is coming back to that token. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that would be a cool idea, man.
No, absolutely. I don't know if I've said this. Maybe I'll leak some stuff here, but
Leak it.
partners and projects that are building on top, it's plenty. Like we're gonna have a vote optimizer. There's gonna be leveraged CL votes, hopefully. I'm not gonna say who. There's two different CLMs. I can say one of the Beefy. We're actually gonna be one of Beefy's first providers, I guess, in April when we were supposed to initially launch. But they've already gotten it. They call it cow-centered liquidity. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's tough to say.
that's what they call it. Yeah.
We got Gamma as well. Hoping to have a bunch of aggregators, maybe some shadow farms. I don't know, but there's a lot of cool leverage vault stuff too. Not to mention other projects that aren't announced that I can't even talk about. But we're not like our goal is not just to be another exchange, right? It's to be an ecosystem hub. No offense to what's currently going on in Fantom, but there's not much volume. There's not too much going on. You got Uni V2 exchanges dominating volume, which makes no sense to me. Like the network desperately needs CL, right? If there's not too much liquidity, we need to make that liquidity efficient, right? To increase the volume. So without like a clear, like I know Equalizer does some CL, but it's not the same as users actually being able to manually, select their ranges to actually be competitively farming. That's what we call it, competitive farming.
Well,
you're trying to, you're trying to reduce your ranges.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the kind of people that would bring large liquidity to your chain, I mean, that's what they want to see, because these are people that are excellent at managing those positions. It's like you were saying, it's almost like a PvP kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, that's been discussed so many times that it was kind of amazing that there was not like a lot more CL stuff kind of developed now. Granted, we've been recovering from a rough bear market. There was a run up prior to, when the original Sonic hype, I guess is what I would call it. So yeah, I mean, I know that you touched on this earlier. I mean, obviously a lot of people are kind of holding off for Sonic to actually be here. But yeah, I would definitely like to see a lot more CL stuff going on. So I like hearing that there's like several other products you're working on besides just like, normal CL. But talking about like the actual like swap element, I mean, I don't know if you can reveal too much, but is it more like it kind of just makes decisions like on if it should go native or if it should go with an aggregator? Is that kind of like what it does?
Yeah. By the way, man, some of these aggregators, you got to be careful. They fight for some of those positions on the front end, But yeah, it can do native or it can do the aggregators. It obviously show you which one's best.
Yeah,
typical to what you see on most exchanges now, at least the good ones. But yeah, there's going to be swap routers. Like it's either going to route through the aggregator. It could be Kyber, it could be Parasol, it could be Odos, it could be just native. Maybe native's crazy good.
Yeah.
So that position on the front end, man, it's usually a fight. So not to step on anyone's toes, we're probably just going to be like, yeah, we'll let all you guys on the page here. But like one thing I will say, the front end is gorgeous, first of all, but it's streamlined. Like I said, no friction to liquidity providers. It'll be a little bit more similar to what you see. Yeah, this is pretty old branding. We've completely switched our branding and logo, but it's what you see like on Uniswap. Just streamlined swap. The only extra stuff is like voting and bribing, but it'll be like a clean front end. And it's first and foremost, like us as the builders or creators, like if I don't want to use the site, like if I don't feel like the front end's an improvement, then I'm just like, okay, we got to redo it. So with us, like we literally are power users, like all of us. I'm weekly literally voting and bribing every freaking week. It feels like a job. Wednesdays.
Oh yeah, man.
Wednesdays, man, I'm in front of the computer with a Trezor. I'm on all these different sites, and And obviously, bull market has returned that effort to me, thank God, but at the same time, it's like it's a job.
Yeah.
So anything we can do to kind of simplify that process where users, because let's be honest, using exchanges, at least for retail and the general audience you want to target, it's tough for them, man. Obviously, us and many others are more used to it. We focused a lot on documentation and guides, but the website will facilitate all of that. Like if you have a guide to how to use your website and the website's like ass, really
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the hell the guide's
Yeah,
saying,
that's
right?
true.
So at the end of the day, it's all about ease of use. And we, like, the people that work on this use this. That's very key. So we use what we want to create, right? So that in mind, we're not just doing it just to do it. I want this to be, it's kind of more experimental. Like I told you, the X shadow changes. A lot of things have changed to just kind of make it easier for people at the end of the day.
So in terms of the solidly model, though, I'm guessing that that's still kind of intact, right? Like Wednesdays, epoch flip, all that kind of stuff. And protocols are bribing, people are voting. So even when you vote, I guess that's interesting. So does it just kind of like briefly lock up the X shadow until the epoch flips, or is it just kind of like a non-custodial kind of?
So X shadow is like perpetually, I won't say locked, but like until you choose to vest, it's a non-transferable, non-tradable asset. Like you can't do anything with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then once you obviously choose to exit, certain parts of this system you're not going to be available to you, like as you're linearly exiting, right? So it's all like similar. It's just a cleaner front end.
Yeah.
Just maybe some voting and bribing pages, obviously some documentation, but you'll literally see trade, liquidity, a tab for like voting and bribing. I put that all under governance, and then that's it. Like it'll.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh man, if there's, what, I'll send the tiniest. Oh, man, I want to post a little screenshot here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna post the UI bar. I'll put it in Telegram. Maybe you could just show that.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Excuse me. So like I was curious a little bit about the point system, but it just kind of clicked for me. So essentially you've got like 3 different time horizons for the rewards: emissions emitted immediately, points you're acquiring over the week, and then you cash them out for X shadow.
Yeah.
And then X shadow, which you can leave whenever, but you have to lock it for some amount of time.
It's you don't even. It's already in that state. It's already, as soon as you have X shadow, it's non-transferable, non-tradable.
Oh,
you can only vest out. Yeah. So it's just better that way. Instead of having a pseudo market for your NFTs, we're just like, we're telling you straight up, brother, you can't trade this. You can't sell this. There's no liquidity for this. It's non-transferable. Don't even try, buddy. Don't even try. The only way you can get out of this is through our website and giving money to the rest of us
to pay the holders.
Exactly. It's the only way out of this. We're married for life until you choose to vest, and that's the divorce. So
yeah, I tossed up the little UI preview there. So yeah, man, I'm kind of surprised you even shared this, because people have been bugging you for months to give up some details, give it, because that landing page that I had up there for a few minutes, it was like, oh man, you can tell that you got like, decent UI kind of people.
Brand's completely changed. We actually we've had 2 designers now, and at the end of the day, we're like, this site needs to make me want to be like, you know what, this is a better experience than what I'm used to. So we've really iterated hard on the front end.
I mean, just seeing like a more minimal, it's that's like a refreshing approach. You know what I mean?
I kind of like the marquee. I'll be honest. I kind of like that marquee that was blinking with shadow decks. But I do like this logo a lot more than the previous one.
Yeah,
which was like a hedgehog looking.
We knew we were gonna change that, man. Some people were telling us they were gonna send Sega to us. So I was like, all right, let me just We switch it up a
I
little
think that's
bit.
good marketing, though, man. I think you should have waited till Sega came, and then you're like, oh no, we flipped it.
No, absolutely. Oh man, I don't know if you guys seen the video. Our first tweet was a 3D rendered like Sonic and Shadow running.
That's
Yeah.
why I
on
was
the
going
road.
through your. I was going through the feed real fast, see if I could find that OG.
Oh man, it's in the highlights right at the bottom. If you
Oh,
click the
okay.
highlights, it is. Yeah, you should pull that up. That's how I started. I was like, yo, man, Sonic theme. I was saying some crazy stuff when we started. I was like, we'll have a 3D Sonic. We'll use what I forget what the library is. 3JS. There's a library where you can for front end with React where you can do 3D models. And I was like, yo, we'll make Sonic move to swap and that. I was like, oh man. I was like,
Okay,
nah.
I kind of miss, dude.
Nobody's
Come on,
gonna
that's
use
actually
that.
kind of sick, dude.
I would love that. I would love to have like a version of the site. Maybe
Yeah,
once
get a
we're very
toggle.
successful.
A toggle for like.
Yeah, toggle it. Like toggle it to the gamer experience, dude. And you get to see Sonic or Shadow running back and forth with all your tokens.
I feel like
Yeah.
when you make a project, you gotta temper your scope a little bit and your expectations.
Yeah.
You might like start off and say, you know what, man, everything's changed. But you really gotta be like, okay, what is actually gonna move the needle? What's worth putting resources
man.
in?
Yeah, what you just sent over. I'll pull that up. Too.
Yes. So
well, dude, here we go.
That's the sign of a good project, though, right? Like you start off somewhere and then you iterate.
I was gonna try to not kill everyone with the sound there. There we go.
Dude, they look so silly. I was about to say this looks like real, like a real Sonic show or something.
Take a look at how Sonic runs. I kept telling the designer, the developer.
I didn't even see this originally.
He's
looks
like
he's
shuffling.
limping, bro.
He's like shuffling, man.
I had to be like, yo, bro, Sonic don't run like that. We had to like go back and forth, and I was like, all right, man, you know what? I'll accept this. But Jesus Christ, man, that's not how Sonic runs, dude. He
dude.
He got a knee injury. ACL is gone, bro.
Yeah, what's going on here? I want to watch that shuffle again.
I even zoomed in so you wouldn't see it that long. It was.
This person the person who animated this has never seen anyone run before. What the hell was that, dude?
Literally, bro.
Lifting their feet up.
Yeah, man, but
he does such good work, man. And then when it comes to Sonic, dude, he looks like he needs to get a wheelchair, bro.
But if you just watch that video and then you look at this, I mean, yeah, like look at how far it's come since then, right?
Yeah, we've iterated quite a bit.
And yeah, I guess I remember you were saying, you guys had already had your TGE and everything. So how's that going? Everyone being remotely patient?
Yeah, actually, this is actually very reasonable because we realized the timeline got extended significantly, right? Like we raced in March for the LGE, and we're like, okay, next month we're hopefully going to launch, and obviously now that's looking a lot further than that. So we offered people early exits, right?
Oh wow!
Created a contract, which did two things. It made it so that you could trade your allocation if you wanted, but you could also just exit through a contract, and then boom, like you can get your money if you'd like, right? So
yeah,
that's done. Only 100K Fantom was exited that way. So
yeah, that's wild, man.
Not too many people are doing it, but more people are trading. So there's a phenomenon right now where I think we priced our LGE correctly, where we didn't provide too much allocations, right? Because that kills a lot of when the token actually launches, it kills the speculation at the start. We've already given all the buyers all the tokens we wanted. So we restricted it. It was a 1 million Fantom LGE. The thing filled 700K Fantom in an hour, which was pretty nuts. It overfilled by like 100 something K, which it should have never had. But I guess it was a lot of money came the same block. Had to refund a lot of people. But there's only buyers, it appears, for the allocation.
I know, man. Now I'm like, now that I've seen how far it's all come, I'm like, I wish I had gotten a lot more at the TGE for sure.
Yeah, I think we like you raise too much, you're kind of down only. Like the only thing for people to do is sell because those are all your buyers, right? So I think we hit a good, midpoint where it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess we're getting close to running out of time here, but man, it was awesome to have you on finally. We'd been talking about it for a while. Anytime you just want to come hang out, man, and just chat it up, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we could just talk Fantom and Sonic. I'm sorry, I kind of went hard on Shadow, but
no, man. I think it's good.
Yeah, in terms of Sonic as a whole, though, I'm very excited. At least a lot of the teams that I'm speaking to and working with, onboarding, it's going to be really exciting. I'm hoping to have a perps front end. I'm not going to say from who, but there could be stocks. There could be just regular crypto assets.
Hey, that'd be
there's
awesome.
a lot of huge some of these projects, they don't even have like their app out. I'm literally just reading scientific journals, like proof of concepts, like some really smart guys that are coming to Sonic that are well educated, like PhDs, just writing about how to best execute like intents. And I don't know, it's a really good space to be in. I know this is kind of a message for some impatient users and people that aren't quite happy with price action. I would just recommend to be patient. If your livelihood is kind of threatened with the recent market outlook and price action, maybe just lower your exposure. I know at these levels it sucks, but it will help that feeling of like, where people are just kind of like panicking, getting anxiety about, stuff. But I promise what people desire is going to come. That price action's coming. Andre hopefully he's dropping, what did he say, 600 projects? I don't know, 4 projects, 600. Same thing to me, man. So it's good. It's looking good, man, overall.
To go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need the price to go up and do something.
Yeah, man. That's what we're all waiting for. But I agree with you. It's it hurts when you're over allocated, right? But
oh, it autoplayed. Okay, strikes. It autoplayed another video. Dude, it does hurt when you're over allocating. If you're like me, you're always over allocated. I want to see some of these scientific journals, dude. The 24/7, because I've heard so many people talk about these PhDs, dude. And I want to know. I might be too dumb.
I'll send you some of them.
But
bro, it's literally on like the worst looking site, like a WordPress site. I scroll down and I click like a 15-page fucking proof of concept. I'm like, holy, this is gigabrain over my head.
Not that I read like a lot of research, but I've always found whenever I'm looking for like information, like hard information from like a first-hand source, if it's on the shittier the site, the better. The more it looks like it was made by like a Russian in like 94, the more I can trust it.
Yeah, for sure. That's how you know like the guy is just putting his like sole focus into like
you learn
figuring this stuff out.
Web dev to be able to host a PDF,
Yeah, you don't need more than that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like I'm definitely looking forward to Sonic. I mean, especially since at least at consensus, they kind of put it out there that it's like their focus is going to be DeFi. I think a lot of us that were here, especially last run or two, have watched that DeFi is just kind of taking a back seat, which in a lot of ways I get it. People are sitting on projects, sitting on developments, waiting for better market conditions, and that allowed sort of like the meme meta to take over. But yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited just from what I know from talking to some people, projects that are already lined up, that are planning on launching on Sonic. And I mean, for Shadow, like I'm guessing, I mean, you guys will probably be like day one, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Hoping to launch as soon as it launches. I think I told you there's some audits pending right now, but they're about to be wrapped up. So
yeah, and you got time. So.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we got, man, I'll be honest with you. That time, the extra time, a lot of people weren't really happy with it. For us, though, it worked out perfectly because we're essentially on a V2 and we haven't even launched. Like,
yeah, I mean, like look at how you've Yeah, I mean, look at how it's evolved just from like when we were looking at the branding stuff and yeah, I mean, especially when you have like an almost complete project, it's like I guess it just gives you a lot of time to say, oh, well, like this could be better, or we could, add this, or so yeah, for you guys, it sounds like it's been like, a positive.
Big positive. Front ends, I would say a lot better. The code base actually, it's completely different. So it's Ramses V3, so that's a lot better. It's like, you got a lot of V2 and V1 didn't even come out. So shout out to Fantom Foundation, Sonic Labs. Yeah, they saved us. I'm not gonna lie, we were hustling. Like we went from a crappy like B tier audit, just to get something quickly done. We were gonna do a lot of proxy contracts to literally Consensus. Consensus is the creator of MetaMask. Like they're a brand name audit. So it definitely costs.
But. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah, man. Like I said, thanks for coming. Definitely gonna have you again. Would love to, like I said, anytime you just want to come chat Sonic, we'll bring you on, and good to finally do it. But yeah, for everybody watching, Fantom Talk has rebranded to OX Sonic Talk. So, you're watching this now. That's probably where you're watching. YouTube GM_Sonic. And anywhere you check out podcasts, give us a listen. And just want to say thanks again, 24. I'll see you later this week, Corval.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, 24.